Hi everyone, I'm Alyssa, and today I'll be showing you guys how to paint semi-realistic anime hairstyles. So today I'm using MEDIBANG Paint Pro, and it's a free drawing software that you can use. And for male hairstyles, I'm going to be drawing a short layered cut as well as a more spiky anime hairstyle. Start with the hairline, and then we'll work from there. So I just drew in a hairline for this first hairstyle, and what I'm gonna do, so I just made a new layer. Just gonna name this layer hairline, this one sketch. I'm gonna grab a different color to work with. So what I'm gonna do is start drawing the first layer of hair. It's similar to the approach where, remember how we drew the hair at the front first for these hairstyles? Like the bangs. So I want to do the same here. What I mean by first layer of hair is if you think of hair in generally 3 sections, there is hair at the front like bangs, hair on the sides like some anime characters who have side fringes, and hair at the back. Bangs would be considered hair at the front, so it's easier if I draw that first and work my way to the hair at the back. Since with short hair, we don't really have a part going down the middle or the side. So for this one, I kind of already determined the direction of the hair, which is going this way. So that means the rest of the hair in that same direction. So here I'm drawing the hair at the back shorter because I imagine this hairstyle to be a bit of an undercut or shaved at the bottom versus the top. You can also make the hair at the back longer if you're going for a more medium length hairstyle. The second step is to start adding detail. So this is like my base, and now I can have the other layers of hair. So I'm happy with that. I'm gonna clean up this hairstyle and we'll go from there. So I have the hairstyle and I'm create a new layer. Put it underneath the drawing. First I'm gonna set my drawing to multiply and I'm gonna fill that in. Here I'm taking my lasso tool, shortcut L, and selecting all the areas I want filled in with my base color. Once my selection is finished, I hit the insert key on my keyboard and that will fill in the area with my chosen color. If I'm not happy with the color I selected, I can open my hue saturation slider, shortcut is Ctrl U, and play around with different hues until I see one that I really like. I just decided on this bluish gray color, and now I'm going to start shading, rendering, the exact same process. I'm using the same light source as these 3, which is top left. Here I'm starting my coloring process by placing some simple shadows onto my base color. I'm working with a pale blue color on a multiply layer. So since my chosen light source is from the top left, I'm keeping a lot of my shadows on the right side. After I finish my first layer of shadows, I create a new multiply layer and add more finer, detailed shadows on top. Once I have all my shadows placed, I create the highlights by quickly lassoing areas where the light is hitting the hair and filling my selection with a lighter blue. And now I'm going to be rendering. I have my shadows and my highlights blocked out and I'm just gonna render away. Just a reminder, when I'm rendering, I am working on top of both the color and the outline, because if I need to blend any of the outline, it has to be on top. For rendering, I like using the acrylic brush with my brush opacity at about 75%, more or less, just so the brush isn't working at full strength. The method I use for rendering is painting with the eyedropper tool. I use the Alt key to bring up my eyedropper tool, and when I let go of the Alt key, my tool changes back to my brush. I pick colors near areas that need to be blended, and I proceed to blend with my brush. So I'm constantly switching between the eyedropper tool and the brush tool as I render. And I repeat this with my shadows, my highlights, and even if I want to blend in my line art to make it look less obvious. And that's the first short hairstyle. We'll see. I'm gonna get started and draw the hairline first. I'm gonna start with the bangs. I have the hairline to work from. This guy a bit more on the anime side of hair. So again, I'm just starting with hair that's at the front. I'm just giving him bangs. Bangs to one side, and they're very spiky. So those are the bangs. And I've decided something similar to Kuro's hair. It's going to be parted from here. And the hair is going to go down this way. And then up. And when we're drawing spiky hair or short hair, try to use a lot of more like triangle shapes like these. And that's really helpful. So I'm just gonna go ahead and draw the rest of the hair. Same process like the first one. I want to draw like the first layer of hair. So like the longest piece of hair. And then the next layer, like the shorter layer, I can draw on another a digital layer over here. Just like that, and then that's adding more detail. Once I'm done the sketch, I create a new layer to do my clean drawing, and I continue to create another layer beneath my lines and choose a base color. I ended up settling on this ash blondish color. I start shading on a new multiply layer, and this hairstyle is spiky and has a lot of layers and things going on, so my shadows are quite a bit more detailed compared to the first hairstyle. A tip when shading or adding highlights is to follow the flow and the shape of the hair. This is also important when you're rendering as well. You want to blend following the direction of the hair. The highlights for this hairstyle is a little different as well. Since the hair is parted on the top left and our light source is from the top left, I have highlights placed on the voluminous parts of the side of the hairstyle and the top, instead of just one ring of highlight like our first hairstyle. So here I'm just blending out some of my harsh line art, and I add my finishing touches like strands of hairs here and there. And I'm just going to soften these lines so they're not so harsh. We get a lot of requests for drawing hair in our cartooning and anime art classes, so I hope this video gave you some valuable insight on how to draw and render hair digitally. Don't miss my tutorial for drawing semi-realistic female hair. Connect with our art nerd community, and if you support free, quality arts education, subscribe.